you very much for being here today and putting your hands together. It always reminds me of, I think the year was 1971. I was to receive a University Convocation Award in Delhi. And the Delhi University Students' Union, which is a nursery for future leaders and chief ministers and all kinds of people, but from home. We were very far away, those receiving the awards. So the president of the Students' Union said, "Friends," when the chief guest arrived, "friends, give him a heavy hand." Of course, whatever it meant in his vocabulary. So please don't give me a heavy hand. Put your hands together. Thank you very much. It's indeed a privilege to be here in your midst today to this event, or this multitude events, which is none of my creation, I assure you. It's all Dr. Anil Garg. He's a very inventive mind. My distinguished senior Bora Sahab, Dr. V.K. Garg, Mr. Kushagra Nandan, Dr. A.K. Balyan, Mr. Sunil Wadhwa, Mr. N.B. Mazumdar, Dr. Negi, Anil Garg ji, Ragni ji, and other distinguished members of the fraternity who have come here today. This occasion which Dr. Garg organizes is really an occasion to get together to contemplate, look back. The answers are normally lying around somewhere, but we have not bothered to find those answers. In fact, we tend to look more into a problem that's become a problem. Now, this issue of waste to wealth, it takes me back to my years in the Department of Atomic Energy when there was a Parliament question on nuclear waste. And for briefing the Prime Minister, which was my duty, I wanted to understand more of it, and one of our most outstanding nuclear scientists came to brief me in turn from BARC. His name was Dr. Chinu Srinivasan, we used to call him. He was a cold fusion expert, which was not very fashionable among some part of the community, but some swore by it. So I asked him about nuclear waste. His reply was simple, and which stuck with me. He said, "There's no such thing as nuclear waste. It's only our inability or inadequacy to understand to what use we should put it to and how we should utilize it." Now that really sums up, I think, our concept of waste. Waste is wealth. We created it. It was not lying around on the planet as such. Everything on the planet is useful. Industry creates that waste. Each one of us as an organism creates something which we imagine as waste, but it is not. It is part of a whole biological or chemical cycle of elements, compounds, which are part of this universe. Sunil Wadhwa, one of our awardees today, he has mentioned the word DISCOM. He headed a Delhi DISCOM. Now, I must share with you this word DISCOM. You know, when we had the new, I should say the electricity revolution, or I should say a phenomenon that yes, we must have Gencos, Transcos, and the third word was disco. I was in Haryana government that time, and a World Bank project came and they believed in all these acronyms. So my colleagues went to brief the chief minister. He said, "Baki to sab theek hai, ye disco kya hai?" So they had to come up with an immediate solution. And they said, "Acha sir, iska naam disco se discom kar dete." Now that is the origin, the namkaran of this word discom. And very appropriately, I think it from a disco, which would have been a source of joy and celebration, it was called a discom because it continued to be a source of great discomfort for many years to come, for many people like Mr. Wadhwa and myself for many, many years. But hopefully we have discovered that it's not waste, it's not discomfort. A lot of wealth is coming out of it. I can call him Dr. Wadhwa for what he has gone through in life, and he still wants to orbit around us, so in multiple orbits. So this is what this whole event is about, which has been conjured by Dr. Garg, because we talk of World Renewable Energy Technology Congress, the World Water Summit, the World Hydrogen Energy Summit, and World Waste to Wealth Summit. Now all these are issues which center around the very essence of existence, the very nature of human activity, creating problems, looking for solutions, and moving from one crisis to another. That is the story of civilization. Of course, periodically punctuated by wars and strifes and destruction. Just like a human being, we are born, we live. Some of us are born to create trouble, others to solve issues and problems, and finally we pass on and pass the problem on to somebody else. Now the very issue of survival, I would say, concerns the core of this meet, unlike the very high voltage commercial petroleum or coal or other meats that we have. We cannot survive without water, we cannot survive without air, we cannot survive without food. Now all this needs energy, which we thought, because of centralizing and the commercial concept of it, of convenience, fossil energy became the prime mover of energy from an earlier established practice of using renewable energy. It's man who invented this fossil energy as a mass use because it was easier to control, it was fungible, you could build large empires in concentrated places, and it developed in the Western economies where the winters were so harsh that they needed an energy which could serve them round the year. Whereas countries like India, we had sunshine round the year more or less. We had crops maturing round the year. We had our spells of rain that gives us our water. And when people complain, oh, this area is flooded, problems, floods, well, without this, we would not survive to the next year. It's all part of Srishti. Our mothers have gone through the pain of pregnancy, giving birth to a child, to a new life. Nothing comes in life without pain. Each one of us who is here have gone through the labors of learning of adapting to your jobs to meet targets, get things done. So all good things come through hard work and pain. And it's a whole process of learning and harnessing whatever resources you have. Now, when you come to nuclear, I would say that if we are moving into so much of renewable energy, which is intermittent, any person who has managed the energy sector, particularly the electricity sector, knows that you need a base load power. That's the very basis of your constant existence, just like a human being. You need your basic stored energy to serve you even when you are asleep. Now that base load power earlier came through coal because it was more convenient. But I think if we are going for renewable in such a big way, we will need that base load power from a non-fossil source, and that is nuclear. And a great revolution is hopefully about to come there, and that is in the form of modular reactors. Now, how small will they be? What will be the freedom to use them? Will they be open to abuse? Will they be open to mischief? These are the problems that the top policy makers of the country, I think, world over, they're silently going through. But I can admit here that I made a recommendation a few months ago that we have to turn that way, and the earlier we do it, the better. China has already moved a big way in that base load power. We have to move in that direction also. So when we talk of this renewable, my suggestion to Dr. Garg would be that we should also include nuclear in it in the times to come, because this marriage will be necessary. Without that, we will not be able to come to a very stable source of continuous power supply. Now, when we move to renewables, there is another problem, and that is a problem of micro collection of energy besides micro generation, and multiple transactions, and transactions which have to be integrated in a manner that the electrical grid remains at 50 cycles. You cannot have the swings that come through. And if there are multiple transactions going around in the whole energy space, then who accounts for all those transactions? I think the solutions you all know probably, and let us admit it, they're already emerging. And that is an area where the Government of India has just, I think, the day before announced the committee, and that is digitalization. We need to go whole hog into accounting the millions of sources of energy which might be coming into. It's beyond the human brain or an office sitting there to do those transactions. It has to be an electronic solution, most probably assisted by AI. And this digitization of the whole diversified generation process, where a minute-to-minute accounting, more or less, will have to be done, is an absolute prerogative for this kind of scenario which is to emerge, because you need energy, you need information about that, you need to note and monetize that transaction, ascribe the commercial value to it, apportion it, and deal with the whole situation. I came across a good description of it in a document which the IEA has prepared jointly with Mr. Nandan Nilekani. And that somehow spelt it, and I've taken a sentence out of it to share with you. It's a shared scalable framework, a shared scalable framework that can trigger a flywheel effect of innovation and integration. I repeat for you, a shared scalable framework that can trigger a flywheel effect of innovation and integration. It's a symbiotic effect, harmonizing relationship between energy, technology, and commerce, besides forecasting demand and managing supply, thereby legitimizing and supporting the energy market. They're little difficult words, but this is what I think the whole scenario is going to be. And that is where I think AI will have to step in and be a convenient mechanism or a tool in pushing this new energy revolution forward. Now, as you know, and we can well see, I'm a fossil, and I have no business to be talking about new energies and new initiatives. But since Dr. Garg had invited me, you have to suffer me. Thank you very much, and it's my pleasure that I had this occasion to speak to you, and I sincerely hope that the 2 days of deliberations will lead us to at least a comprehensive understanding of some of the issues, if not solutions. And in my advice to Dr. Garg almost a decade back, I told him that I am more interested in not people of my age coming into these events, but young people who are going through the process of education and finding their careers should understand, appreciate, and take the movement forward. This has to be a continuous and a sustainable process of accelerated growth. Thank you very much for inviting me.